Hey, good morning, Groundswell Church. Welcome to Church Online, Church at Home. Give me a bit of a wave, give me a thumbs up, let me know who's on, let me know where you're watching from. You may notice that we are recording from somewhere different today, and where we're at the beautiful Lake Conjola. I'll just give you a bit of a look. You may see there's a hive of activity that's happening, and as you may have heard us talk about over the past couple of weeks, is as Groundswell Church, we've partnered with Convoy of Hope, and we've been doing Regrow Conjola. So stoked to have you with us this morning. We're in for a great and incredible morning with some worship from our very own Groundswell creative team. We've also got our very own Cynthia King bringing a word, boots on the ground, which is what we're doing. And I just want to encourage you with a Bible verse. I guess while we've been at Lake Conjola and we're coming up to the 12-month anniversary with the fires, I was just reminded of a promise out of Isaiah 58, and it says, "You'll use the old rubble of past lives to build anew. Rebuild the foundations from out of your past. You'll be known as those who can fix anything, restore old ruins, rebuild and renovate, make the community livable again." I just think, what an incredible promise that, what we're seeing at Lake Conjola is that, in a place that seems in ruins, God is using the rubbles. He's using the things in our life to rebuild, to renovate, to build something new. And I just pray that that encourages you this morning, that, as we go into the season, you may have heard me talk about that this season in my heart was, it's a season to restore, rebuild and renew. And so my prayer for us today is may God renew, may God rebuild something fresh in our life. So be blessed this morning, church, and I'll talk to you soon. Catch ya.
Arise, my soul, remember this. You took my sin and you buried it. No longer I who live, now Jesus lives in me. For I was dead in sin, but I woke up to see the light. No, I won't boast, but in the cross that saved my soul. All else is lost. The grip of fear has no hold on me. So where, oh death, where is your sting? No longer I who live, now Jesus lives in me. For I was dead in sin, but I woke up to see the light.
All of this for your glory. All of this for your glory. Sing it out. All of this for your glory. All of this for your glory. Sing all of this for your glory. And all of this for your glory.
No longer I who live, now Jesus lives in me. For I was dead in sin, but I woke up to see the light.
righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but wholly trust in Jesus' name. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak and made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, He is Lord, Lord of all. When darkness seems to hide His face, I rest on His unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within the veil. My anchor holds within the veil. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, He is Lord, Lord of all. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, He is Lord, Lord of all. He is Lord. When He shall come with trumpet sound, oh, may I then in Him be found, dressed in His righteousness alone, faultless stand before the throne. Let's sing that again. When He shall come with trumpet sound, oh, may I then in Him be found, dressed in His righteousness alone, faultless stand before the throne. Oh, Christ alone, cornerstone, to church. Welcome to Sunday. This is the Sunday sunrise coming to you, and we're at Colbard, just down at the water. I just thought if we come to the water, it can help cool you off on this hot weekend. How did you survive? Did you have special things that you were doing? Wet towels for your face, or were you in aircon? Did you go swimming all day? How did you go? All right. So you got me today preaching, and I got this sermon called Boots on the Ground, and I just love the idea of boots on the ground. It's just getting up in the morning, getting going in the day. But as a Christian, getting our boots on the ground, let's actually get into our community, and that's what we're going to just chat about. So I just want to start with a story, if that's all right with you. But do you remember when you went school shopping with Mum and Dad just before the beginning of the school year, and you got to pick those brand new leather shoes, and you were so excited? They sat in that box in your room for the whole week, and it felt like 5 years, but you could smell the nice leather, you could see them each day as you opened them up. You're like, oh! And then on that day you get to put them on with your nice new socks, new uniform, get to school, and your aunt's pants for the first half of the day. Then lunch happens. After you've eaten, you start doing some running, and then all of a sudden you start doing that walk. You start doing that pain walk of, there's blisters forming on my feet, there's blisters on my ankles, and you start feeling the pain of those brand new shoes. And then you get home, you finally can kick those shoes off, you get your band-aids on, you get your socks off. Well, you take your socks off first, then put the band-aids. And then, but you wake up the next day, Mum and Dad are like, come on, put your shoes on, you gotta go to school. No! I don't know if you've ever had that, those feelings, but I can very clearly see those memories of wearing those shoes. I remember as an 18-year-old going for my first restaurant job, doing the exact same thing. By the end of my shift, I was doing that walk. I shouldn't have brought brand new shoes, but it was meant to be a nice place. But I had to wear nice shoes, and the blisters just got worse and worse during the night. And I did not want to ever put those shoes back on again. But have you ever had those experiences? So I love how they start off brand new, they're fresh, they've got this woo kind of aspect to them. But then as you start getting that journey in it, pain can start to be formed, and then you start feeling like hurt, and then it feels like a torture session sometimes for your feet. But then if we can get through that breaking in period of those shoes, that's where reliability, comfort, they go the distance. They're there, like they become your best pair of shoes. And that's why they last the whole year rather than just the season, or they can last multiple years if you're an adult, because we're not trashing them, but they could last multiple years. And I just like they've gone that distance with you, and they leave your footprint in there. Your unique mark is in your shoe. And it's much the same when we do life with other people. I'm talking about actual life with people, like physically with one another. Social media, I'm all about social media. I actually help with lots of people with social media, with the church. I've got loads of different social media outlets, but that's not doing life with people. You don't actually get to see the raw, real side of people, and that's mainly a highlight reel. And I believe there's a time and place for social media, but there's also doing life with people, being with one another, and walking alongside one another. And there's power in doing that. And when it comes to those hard times, if it's only social media, you wouldn't see those hard times. You may just see less posts. But when we're physically doing life together, when we're actually walking the journey together, you walk through the hard times together. We're getting our boots on the ground for one another. We're getting our boots on the ground for those in our community. And like what Dave's been preaching about is rebuild, restore, renew. And if we get our boots dirty, if we get our boots on the ground, we're able to start rebuilding into friendships. We're able to renew something within ourselves. We're able to restore like stuff within us, but with our relationships, and then we can restore like further from there. In Ephesians 6:15 in the NIV, it says, with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. I love that. It says feet fitted. So they're not, the gospel of peace is our gospel shoes. We've got our gospel boots on, but are they fitted? And God actually made them fitted to fit perfectly for us. He uniquely custom made the best pair of boots for you, for me. Like, how awesome. But those boots weren't made to just sit on a shelf. Those boots weren't made to stay in the box. The boots were made for walking. And that's just what I'll do. And that's that first point, is these boots are made for walking. And that's what I'll do. Yes, if you've got that song in your head too, that's okay, because I've had it in my head for all week. You're like, oh. But my second point is Jesus' feet. Now, our feet are like our inner self to our boots. Our feet are who we are on the inside for who we actually display ourselves to be. And in World War I, men actually suffered from a thing called trench foot. And I found some information that I thought you would find fascinating. I love learning about wars, and I love learning about history and all this. So, I hope you enjoy this. But it goes, unlike frostbite, trench foot does not require freezing temperatures. It can occur in temperatures up to 16 degrees and within as little as 13 hours. Exposure to these environmental conditions causes deterioration and destruction of the capillaries and leads to morbidity of the surrounding flesh. Excessive sweating has long been regarded as a adding cause. Unsanitary cold and wet conditions can also cause trench foot. The prevention: trench foot can be prevented by keeping the feet clean, warm and dry. It was also discovered in World War I they kept a preventative measure. The key to a preventative measure was regular foot inspections. Soldiers would be prepared and each partner made responsible for the feet of the other, and they would generally apply whale oil to prevent trench foot. If left to their own devices, soldiers might neglect to take care of their own boots and socks to dry their feet each day. But when it was made the responsibility of another, this became less likely. And the treatment like the treatment of gangrene, is surgically removed, amputated. Self-treatment consists of changing socks 2 to 3 times a day and usage of plenty of talcum powder whenever possible. Shoes and socks should be taken off, the feet bathed for 5 minutes and patted dry, talcum powder applied and feet elevated to let the air get to them. I find that fascinating, but I got 5 things out of it that we can so easily do with our own personal walks with God, with our on our day-to-day lives, and regular inspections. Having others to keep you in check when left to their own devices may neglect to take care. Often includes amputation and self-care. And We need to be checking in on ourselves. Where are we at? Where are we at? Is our walk with God right? Are we keeping our hearts right towards people because they may rub us up the wrong way? Or are we keeping our hearts aligned with how God is taking us on this path and this journey? Having others to keep us in check. Iron sharpens iron. I love that, because iron sharpens iron is not just something like two pillows rubbing together. It's not something really soft. Iron sharpens iron. There's sparks. It's friction. It's actually sometimes rubbing each other up the wrong way, but that's actually making us stronger and sharper for God. And in the moment it doesn't feel great, but there is power in iron sharpens iron. So having others keep you in check, it doesn't mean they're going to be yelling at you, or they're checking on you. They're coming in and going, hey, are you okay? How's your walk with God? Oh, have you had any revelations? What have you been praying about? Like, asking one another, where are you at with God? When we're left to our own devices, we may neglect to take care of our walk with God, with our own self, with our mental health, with our emotional health, with our physical health, with our spiritual health. We may neglect to look after ourselves. Amputation. We may, if things go, if we don't look after ourselves, if we don't look after our boots, if we don't look after our feet, if we're not looking after, we may need to cut things off. It may not physically mean we're going to chop your leg off, but there could be things in your life that need to then be cut off, that it will hurt, and we need to take care of it. We need to look after our boots. We need to look after our feet. Self-care. Self-care is so important. If you're not looking after you, if you're healthy yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if you're not healthy in that area, then we can't actually help others, because we're not actually in that position to look after. And so it's important. Self-care. Take time for you. Whether if it's a stroll along the beach watching the sunrise, whether it's having a coffee in a cafe by yourself, reading a book, just spend time for yourself. And I'm a mum of 4, and I know time for yourself sometimes is very scarce. But I have one day a week, on a Tuesday, I have time for me to just stop and go, all right, what would I like to do? Sometimes I hang out with friends. Sometimes I just go for bushwalks on my own. Sometimes it's just sit at home in my pajamas watching movies. There's times when you need to look after yourself, so then you can actually look after others. You can care for others. You can go on the journey with others. Jesus, he's the Son of God, but he humbled himself so much that he got down and washed his disciples' feet. That sounds like a really pretty picture, but when you actually picture it, I've seen my kids come in after playing in the mud. There's no way I'm going to get down and just gently wash their feet. No, I'm like, get in the shower, wash them yourself. But Jesus actually got down. Their feet would have been sores on them, calluses, manure, dirt, who knows, whatever was on the ground, whatever their journey had been, there would have been so much on their feet. But he washed them. He didn't care about the dirt on their feet. But what I love is Jesus doesn't care about the dirt on our life. He still wants to walk the journey with us. And that's what we should be doing with others. They may have very evident dirt on their lives, or they may have dirt that is so hidden. But let's just do the journey regardless with them. And in 1 Samuel, it says, 1 Samuel 16:7, it says, do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as a man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks in the heart. And that's exactly that. He's not looking at the dirt he sees the heart of the person. And says in the Bible, God has called us to love God, love others, and that's all we're meant to be doing, is love God, love others. And I love that. And just like the boot story at the beginning about the brand new shoes and the blisters, it can be so uncomfortable, it can be so painful sometimes, and it's not a fun journey sometimes. But there's trust when we start actually doing life with people in a real way. There's trust built, there's honor built between one another, there's connection, there's history, that you're doing it together, and your heart can break for theirs and their heart breaks for yours. Like it's doing it together, getting our boots dirty. And I just want to share a quick story of I met a woman, her name's Loretta, and about 5-6 years ago I met her in my parents' cafe in Culborough, and from the outside there was a lot going on. They were about to go to court to get their kids returned to them because they had 4 of their kids removed, and they had a big journey to go on, and it's not an easy journey. You've got to go through court, and if court isn't just you go in one day, you leave the next. It's not like Law and Order where it looks like it's just a 40-minute episode. But I chose to walk alongside her, just get to know her. I'd never met her before, and I just got to know her, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I invited her to church, and her and her husband came to church and started serving on the team. And then as we got to know them more and more, and they started becoming more and more part of the church family, we were able to hear more of their story. But then, as much as heartbreaking as the original story was, there was so many victories, celebrations as we're coming at this end. They have 3 of their kids returned home. They have, during this time, they've actually had another little baby, Zakai, and he's 2 now, so not so much of a baby, but there was celebration when we found out she was pregnant, celebration when when Zakai was born, and then we're just praying and believing for their son Zadis to be coming home, and there's doing the journey together. There was tears on both ends of us. There was frustrations. There's this stirring. There's this fight to come on, God. And between us, there's sometimes that lack of faith, exhaustion of, God, are you going to answer my prayer? But it's doing it together. It's going this journey together. It's having those midnight phone calls of hearing the mother's heart breaking because the journey is hard. There's blisters on this journey. There's blisters. It hurts. But she is a great friend, and I just want to encourage, if you know one of these people around in your life, get alongside and be praying. Be that spiritual hand lifting them up. Be that person just loving on them. And it's walking the journey with them. It's not just an overnight thing. This is 6 years of journey, and the history is so great. There's good, bad, and ugly stories, but it's doing it together. Get your boots dirty. Jesus got his feet dirty. He didn't own, I assume he didn't own boots, but he got his feet dirty. He got his boots dirty. He got in amongst those people. He got in amongst others. And I just want to encourage, get in amongst others. Let's get our boots dirty, get our boots on, because these boots were made for walking, and that's just what I'll do one of these days. I'll let you finish the song. I got too carried away. My third point is boots on the ground. What does it look like to have Jesus' feet? How can we practically get our feet into our community? Where do we start? Where do we even start? Our community isn't just 10 people. Our community is like this Culburra is 3,500 people. I'm unsure of Ulladulla's, but you don't have just 10 people in your town. Where do we start? Like, what can we as individuals, as you and me, be doing to share the love of God with others? On a day-to-day thing, what can we be doing? What can we be doing? What can we be doing to get our boots dirty for God? On a day-to-day, how can we go from only reaching just a few over here to then reaching our community, our whole wider community, our region, our nation? How can we go from just one or two, you and me, going from reaching just these few to reaching multiple? Like, these are the things, like getting our boots on the ground, getting our feet actually out there. How do we do this? And it's not just up to the leaders in the church to do all the going out to get our boots dirty. It's not, oh no, I can't get my boots dirty yet. I'm not there as a Christian. It's not like that. God actually asks all of us to go out. Like, as leaders, we are called. We actually have a higher expectation to actually be an example of going out, to actually go out and reach those and be the example. But in the Bible, it doesn't say, leaders, you go into all the world, make disciples, you go love others. It doesn't say just leaders, it doesn't say just the pastors, it doesn't say, oh, those of you who have done Bible college, those of you have done X, Y, and Z, only you go. It says all of us. Like, all of us are equipped. God's given us all we need to reach those in our sphere of people. And I love that, like, all of us go. Like, Jesus is the most perfect example, which I love. He went, didn't he? He went. And you read the stories, and in my head, I'm a very creative person in my mind. I imagine a lot of different things, but when I see the story of Jesus, with the man with the mud in the man that was blind, he put mud in his eyes, and I just picture Jesus just like strolling down the street with his friends. He's like, yeah, just having a good time, probably having a, I don't know, coconut. Wouldn't have had a coffee, but oh, you never know. But I see him just strolling down the street, and then he sees the guy and he's like, hey, you blind? Oh, here, let me just mix up some mud and I'm just going to throw it in the eyes. Like, he was just like, oh yeah, like, he didn't make it awkward, he didn't make it over the top, he didn't go, oh, everyone look at me. He was just like, here, let me love on you. He just loved him. He's like, here, let me help you. He was just really chill about it, and then continues on to do many more miracles and love on others. And Jesus just loved others. But he was human. He was in a human body. So he would have looked just like all of us. But there was something about him, something that was so attractive about him. I'm not talking about physical appearance. I'm talking about who he was as Jesus. There was something about him that just went, wow, I want to follow this guy. I want to know what this guy's doing. Is this guy for real? Like, there was something about him. And so, like, how cool would it be if we were like that? There was something about us that stood out, that we actually then went and was able to just touch lives in such a miraculous way. And in Matthew 15:18, it says, what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart. So whatever is on the inside starts to come out. Alright, so my challenge for all of us, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, what you wear, this is the challenge for you. This is a challenge for all of us. And if you want to accept this challenge, I want to encourage, type below, write challenge accepted. And what can you do to start getting your boots into your world. Start getting your boots dirty. Get your boots on the ground in your world in a practical way. Whether it's a social aspect, whether if it's Bible study, whether if it's, I don't know what. Get creative. Ask God, what friendships have you been keeping at that easy area when you know God's saying, get in and actually be more involved. Get those blisters with this relationship. What can you do to start building community? Like I said, like a social connect, like once a week, just going, hey guys, I'm going to coffee at this place, and just building community of just relationship. Whether if it is, hey, we're going to go through a study together to learn more about God together. Whether if it is a mother's group, whether if it is prayer, whether if it is surfing. I don't surf, but we live in communities that there's beach. Whether if you're from anywhere else from Australia, whether if it's hiking, whether if it's, I don't know what it is, be creative of how do you build community within where you are. It's just being creative, and I just want to finish here, like, have you got your boots on, or are they sitting in the box waiting to be put on? Thanks guys.
Wow, thanks so much, Sin, for a great word. Who got heaps out of it? And I just love, the practical side of it. Just, it's time as a church to get our boots on the ground, to get active in people's lives, to be active in community. We've also got some other really cool opportunities coming up with Regrow Conjola. We want to bless the Lake Conjola residents, and so in the coming weeks, keep an eye out for an email and announcements. We're actually going to deliver some small gifts to all the residents here in Lake Conjola, and as a church we want as many people involved with that. But just recapping some of what Sin talked about, her points this morning was our boots are made from walking. That just puts the Jessica Simpson song in my head. Jesus' feet and boots on the ground, and what a great word. It's actually felt like it's time, a season for us as we build into Christmas, prepare for the new year, that it's time to actually get on the ground and get involved with people. So just a couple of quick announcements as we close off the service. Who can tell me, just type what is coming up in December. Now, if my kids were here, they would be screaming out like Buddy the Elf, Christmas is coming. Christmas is so close. And so with that, we just want to let you know what's happening in December. We have our Christmas service happening on the 20th. There's Chriselle. Chriselle, do you want to come and tell everyone a little bit about our Christmas service, what we have planned?
Yes. And did you tell them about the ladies' night?
No, I've just literally just started talking.
Oh, perfect timing. Yeah, well, I did want to mention about the ladies' Christmas dinners because they're going to be happening pretty soon, actually. So in Culburra, it's Friday the 11th of December, and in Ulladulla it's Thursday the week after, maybe like the 15th or 16th or something like that. So let your lady friends know and be there. It's called All That Glitters. So we're doing a bit of a sparkle theme. We're going to share some dinner. We're going to do a bit of a craft. It's going to be an awesome night just to gather, celebrate Christmas together. So put those dates aside. Let us know if you can make it and tell your friends. And what else?
Services?
Christmas, yes. So we're really excited. We're going to be doing a couple of different things. We're going to be doing some online stuff for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day as well, isn't it? But we're also having our Christmas service on Sunday, the 20th of December. It's going to be a beautiful time. There's going to be carols and kids item. We're going to have some activities after the service and some food. So put that aside. 10 a.m. in Culburra and 5 p.m. in Ulladulla. It's going to be pushed back an hour. So we're going to have a service with carols and fun, and then afterwards we're going to hang around and hang out together and celebrate. That's
awesome.
it. I'm going to get back to work, Dave.
Hey, I'm working. Bit of an impromptu there. And so Christmas, excited to be hosting you. Great opportunity. Invite your friends, invite your family. And that's it for our announcements. Also, just a reminder for giving. I just want to thank you, church, for your generosity over what has been a tough year. And I just know, generosity is so important. And, the Bible talks about by being generous with our lives, being generous with our time, our resources and finances. It actually creates an open door into people's lives. And generosity just unlocks things. So I want to thank you for your generosity. Our bank details are all coming up, so all our giving's done online now. And so church, thank you for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you throughout the week. Remember, if you want to connect with us, please leave us your details, and we want to be praying for you and getting alongside you in this season. Love you, church. Catch ya.